Hi, this is Sue again. I'm 62 years old and I travel cross-country in my Ford Transit Connect. I wanted to show you what my van looks like currently. Over the last couple of years I've had it, I've done a bunch of updates. A little shelving unit, my nice flooring, my bed that pulls out, walls, lights, decoration, cover for my fan, a soft cabinet for clothing storage, a nice desk, 2 drawers, and a cubby. Usually keep my food in there. I have a basket here, a basket in the back, and in the front I built an extension off the existing shelf. I keep my Reflectix in there. I have some curtains and covers for the chairs. The cabinet is pretty deep. The drawers pull out. Those are pretty deep. But as you can guess, it didn't always look like this. My journey started dreaming about travel. I didn't think I could afford it, but when you find yourself on the sales page of the van dealer, just looking, you know you are hooked. It's just a matter of time before it ends up in your driveway. I started building in February and I wanted to be on the road by May. I found a number of handy friends with power tools. I also did a lot of work myself in my driveway, so I started planning and taking measurements. I found a great planning website, planyourroom.com, which allows me to make exact measurements with icons that look like furniture. First thing I started with was the floor. My friend Tim and I went to the hardware store and picked out a piece of plywood that pretty much fit exactly in the back of the van. We chose rock wool insulation for its insulating, fire retardant, and water shedding properties. We created a frame around the underside of the plywood and made some channels to put the insulation in. We found it easiest to cut the rock wool insulation with an electric meat carver. Lastly, we cut out some notches in the plywood for the van steps. This stage cost about $176. Because I'm frugal, I found and used some clean secondhand wood at the local recycling center. My friend Jeff came over to help me construct a shelf to extend off the existing shelf in the cab of the van. With his second visit, we put up a face on the shelf. He also helped me put a door handle on the back of the van to make it easier to pull shut from the inside. The shelf and the door handle cost me under $10. Between construction projects, I was working on covering the panels to the doors and sewing curtains. I found some fabric that reflected my personality. The door panels pop off by removing the little black buttons. Then I would trace the outline of the panel and cut the fabric. I measured and cut and sewed the fabric to fit the windows and strung it up with string with magnets on each side. Fabric cost about $20. I chose a Max Fan Plus. This is the model that did not come with the remote control. I had another friend help me with this install. First we traced and taped where we needed to cut a hole in the roof. He had a saw that worked really well cutting through the metal. Now we had a hole. I bought some rust-proofing product to put on the cut. The fan fit, we built the frame and set it in. I used a good amount of caulking to make sure it didn't leak. Installing the fan cost about $300. Between different stages of installing the fan, I worked on putting soundproofing on the walls and ceiling of the van. I used sillage to reduce road noise, soundproof, and as a side benefit it also adds some insulation. This product cost me about $63. I used peel and stick vinyl flooring to cover the plywood. The hardest part was cutting the pieces so they alternate length. I also put some nice edging on the flooring. This all cost me about $47. I brought the van to my other friend Jeff. He was helping me install the ceiling. It was quite a job measuring and cutting and measuring and shaping and cutting before we got the right shape. Not forgetting to put the rock wool in place, we screwed it all into place. Making the opening for the fan was a trick, but we did it. I was using Luan for the ceiling and the walls. I needed to buy more of that and some more rock wool. This cost me about $213. Working on the walls was quite a trick. I felt very proud of myself that I did it solo. I first started by removing the plastic sides to the walls. Then I created a box to go over the wheel well to the one side of the van where the bed was going. I had 2 plastic stools I used as sawhorses to cut my wood. To attach the luan to the wall, first I attached the strapping to the van. I used cardboard to make my templates. I taped and scored the luan to make clean cuts, and then I sanded the edges. I positioned the rock wool on the wall to stay up, and then put luan over it. I kept one of the plastic walls that covered some of the electrical wire and put a little bit of rock wool in there to insulate. I covered the wheel well on this area with some red fabric. Yes, I know I should have used fabric that matched the others, but oh well. Then I went to work on the upper wall area and the door of the slider, repeating the steps from the other wall: template, cutting, strapping, rockwood, and installing. Cost for this section was about $85. I found a Sprinter 3-foot soft cabinet that was a little long for the Trented Connect, but I made it work. We ran a length of wood on the inside and attached it to 2 points on the ceiling, front and back, and 1 point at the back bottom, and attached it to the wall. The cabinet was about $180. The next step was working on my garage area and my bed. I went out and bought some lumber. My friend let me use his wood shop, so I measured and cut and measured and cut. The garage area was pretty easy to put together, but the bed was very involved. I watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to construct an expandable bed, but there was one that worked best for me. I followed the instruction on the YouTube video pretty much exactly. To save space, the length of my bed includes putting my feet over the garage area, so the garage area needed to be the same height as the bed. I made the frame first and then put on the slats. I think I did a pretty excellent job. The price for the lumber and the hardware for the garage area and the bed was about $150. My friend Jeff helped me move that super annoying bright cargo light that goes on in the middle of the night when you need to open the door and takes forever to go off when you shut the door. We extended the wire so I could move it below the storage bag, and we put on a toggle switch. It was time to install it in the wall. I was having trouble scoring and cutting the light switch plate to fit and cutting the hole in the wall. So my friend Joe helped me cut it out with his high precision skill saw. With help from good friends, this only cost me about $10. I had to buy 2 light switch plates because I messed up the first one. You don't need much lighting in the van at night. If your lights are too bright, it feels like a 747 is coming to land in the back of your van. I strung up strands of Christmas lights I had, one colored and one white. I also bought some colored solar flower lights and ivy. These different kinds of lights gave me options depending on the mood I was in at night. This probably cost me less than $20. While I was on my first road trip out west with my van, I stopped and saw my cousins Heidi and Jeremy in Salt Lake City, Utah. Jeremy offered to throw together a custom cabinet for me for the back of the van. How could I refuse that? On a second trip back through, he put in some drawers. Through the love of family, this did not cost me a cent. Jeremy cut me a piece of wood for the extension, but we did not have the brackets needed to put it on, so I did that when I got home. The 2 foldable brackets cost me about $15. So this build took me about a couple months to put together. Screws, braces, hardware, strapping, luan, lumber, etc. This cost me $1,778.55. Most van bills you see cost thousands of dollars, sometimes even more than the van itself. But I live on a budget, so this is what I came up with that fit within my guidelines. I did eventually add a 100-watt solar panel and an electric cooler. That ended up being about $372.76. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave it below. And as always, see you on the road.